Hello and welcome. Since I see someone joining, I'll go ahead and start. What I'm doing tonight, as I do every fourth day of the month, is my devotional rite to Hermes, who is my patron in pagan workings and in my faith. I chose the fourth day of the month because, according to the Homeric hymn, Hermes was born on the fourth day of a month. They don't specify which month, but I usually celebrate his birthday in May for his mother's namesake, Maya. But so on the fourth day of every month, that is time for a devotional rite to Hermes. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. It's a short rite, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, but a little bit longer because I'll be adding a few pieces of devotional poetry, pieces in honor of Hermes, specifically written as offerings to him, offered in the past, but sharing with you. And one of the offerings for the rite tonight is sharing it online live. Thank you. Hermes is a god of communication, of messages, of bringing people together. And so a lot of the time his requests are to go out and to find people, to share things, to tell them messages. So that's what this is for tonight. And I mean, he is the one who got me started on TikTok in the first place. Said, what good is poetry if only you are reading it? So, welcome again. Appreciate folks that are coming in. Like I say, you're welcome to come and go. I'm going to go through the rite. I'll explain bits as I go. Just for reference, the ritual is being done in a modified version of the core order of Androchfain, which is our own druidry. It's a modern druidic order that I'm a member of. I use that as a baseline, but I do modify a few things. And it's also done in a more Hellenic hearth tradition. Again, I'm not Hellenismos or Hellenic specifically, but I do try to recognize and honor that culture and the originating culture for my patron deity, Hermes. So, am I an island boy? I'm sadly not. I'm not a great water person. I am, however, on the Great Lakes. So, up in Erie, there's a big peninsula they call an island. But sadly, no. All right, so the first thing that I always want to make sure to do, there's this concept in Hellenic religion called miasma, which people interpret in different ways, but it generally means the dirt of the mundane, of the unclean, the world around us, all the evil and gook and disregard that sticks to us. So we want to do something before we go into ritual space, before we approach the gods, to clean that off. Some people will take a full ritual bath. Some people will do a washing. I try to do at least hands and face with kanips, which is lustral water. It's blessed water that's meant to cleanse away that grime of the world. I don't believe in miasma as widely as a lot of Hellenic worshippers. I don't think that everything that is not sacred is dirty. You have to eat. You have to go to the bathroom. These things are not inherently filthy, but it's always good to be respectful to the gods. So that's enough intro. What I've got here, a nice bowl, some spring water, as clean as I can get it, and I'm adding a little seawater. Carnips traditionally is made with fresh water and salt water mixed. This is Pacific salt water. I figured that was appropriate. It is salty, and it's meant to connect to my elenophiles and hermetophiles, friends of Hermes on the west. Can you be my shoe licker? No. No, I'm not into that specifically. I don't mind if you are. But also my boots are really, really dirty. Yeah, I know, if I'm not a foot fetishist, why am I trying to turn them on? But no. No, thank you. All right. The third part rather. So I've got spring water and seawater, and I've got a bay leaf, bay laurel. Laurel leaves are traditional. You need to combine fire and water, and something herbal and clean and sacred helps. So get that nice and burning, and then extinguish it in the water. And it's best to add a prayer. So May the spirits of water and fire and of earth and all things pure bless this water. Make it pure and holy, lustral water, fit to cleanse away all that is not wanted in this rite. So may it be. People find it interesting, the parallels between different faiths. The hand washing. Like I say, I could do a whole face wash if I wanted to. I have at times a nice clean towel. I'm glad that Jesus loves us. Hermes loves you also. Iris loves you, but she's still going to mess with you. All right. So that's the preparations. Yay. Now we can move on to the ritual proper. I've got a number of tools set aside over here. I'll show things as I'm going to use them. And offerings. They're here and there. Disclaimer, in case anybody has a concern, I do show a little bit of alcohol that's in the offerings. I'll try not to plug brands too much. All right, next thing. This is also important for keeping this ritual within a Hellenic pantheon and idea. I'm going to call to Hestia, who is the goddess of fire and of the hearth. She's also a mistress of sacrifices and makes sure that what is offered goes to whom it is intended and is kept safe from anything that might want to creep in and steal it away. So let's light some candles. So I'll start with my arranged wrong. Start with my main fire. There we go. I've got blue candles out for the winter season. I can borrow some incense to light the others. There we go. I'll turn the camera here in a moment to show. There we go. So, it's hard to see from this angle. Oh, sabotage. You are welcome. It was just an idea, something else I could offer for Hermes, but it seemed to resonate. So I've got 3 candles there, one to represent each of the 3 core elements, the waters, the earth, and the fires of the sky. So I went with green, blue, and yellow. A little different than you might recognize if you are Wiccan or familiar with that practice, not the 4 elements nor the 5. I've gone with 3 in this case, with fire and air somewhat combined in the sky. All right, try to keep me and the altar space in the camera at the same time. It's tricky. Push you a little farther back. There we go. All right, so first being welcomed in tonight. Bottle of ouzo, which, besides being somewhat traditional, I like to make sure I buy something that's going to give back a little to the home country, to Greece. Again, where these deities, at least in their understanding, came from. So I like imported better, but as long as a little bit is going back to a Greek importer, I'm happy. So, Hestia, Lady of the Sacred Flame, Mother of the Hearth, Great Goddess on Olympus, I welcome you to my hearth and to my altar. I ask you to join us for the rite this evening, to accept the offering given, and to bless and carry forth all other offerings and sacrifices made tonight. for this rite in honor of Hermes. Please accept what it is given, and I thank you for your attentions. Chaire estia, or welcome, in Greek. There we go. All right, next. Some like to give offerings to every deity. I'm going to keep this a little bit quicker and pour for them all toward the end. So next. To the spirits of this land, of the house in which I live, the land on which it stands, the lands all around us, beings of the stones and of the skies, the trees and the beasts, the waters that flow and gather to the north. All of you, I thank you for the use of your land. I call your attentions if you wish to observe or to share your aid in this rite. But first of all, thank you for this space and this ground upon which to stand. Chairete, land spirits. Next we have, again, more Druidic practice than Hellenic, but I always want to include the earth and sky. Gaia, Mother Earth, I call to you to be welcome, to join in this devotional rite tonight. Thank you for your support and strength. And please lend any aid that you think appropriate, or observe if you wish. Oranos, sky and beyond, partner to Gaia, you too are welcome to watch as you always do, to lend your aid if you will. Gaia, Oranos, Chairete, be welcome. Oh, see a question? What am I doing? My wig. It's all real. Grew it in for the pandemic. What am I doing, since you're just coming in a little bit later? This is my devotional rite on the 4th of the month for Hermes, who is my patron in practice. So I'm doing a Hellenic-focused Druidic rite to honor him, as I do every month, and just sharing it here on TikTok. If anybody is interested, and as part of the offering, is opening a window onto the world. Well, thank you. I appreciate that Jesus loves us. Hermes loves you. Okay. So, we've got the introductions. All right, the first of the poems. So, next, I want to call to a being of inspiration, a guide to help make the rite flow smoothly and to make the words mean what I intend them to help me talk better, not only to you, but also to the gods and to the spirits. Lately, I've been calling a lot upon Apollo, Hermes' brother, sometimes his foil and rival. But in particular, I have a poem that was written not too long ago called Brother Bright, which is a conversation between Hermes and Apollo. So I'm going to share that in his honor and to welcome Apollon. Brother Bright, by what name today should I greet you? Far shooter, who need not race to follow my flight. Far shiner, whose glance charms more than all my words. Far singer, who took my lyre and gave it glory. Far seer, who knows the answer before I ask. Brother Bright, half-brother, how do we stand today? Are we allied, bringers of fortune and omen? Lyric and singer, tutor and scholar, wise ones both? Or do we stand apart, liar and paragon, thief and lawgiver, laughter and blazing fury? Brother Bright, elder son, born before me to Zeus, born to Leto in the only land brave enough, in high honor, by pairing before Hera's claim, my elder by an age, already blessed with herds before I was birthed in dark and secret caverns. Brother Bright, does it vex you that you cannot hide, cannot run free far from Olympus's highest seat, while I travel the world in my different service. If such were permitted, would you trade our stations? Though I do not envy you, I would serve if asked. Brother bright, there could be little else you envy, not glories, for while I have claimed many titles, none outshine your rank among immortals. Those who ignore me live, if sorrowed and squalid. Those who neglect your honors do not survive. Brother bright, our children cannot compare in pride. While mine exceed numbers, yours excel honors. I have fortunes and felons, shepherds and satyrs, while you boast the greatest musician and healer, and high kings and lords throughout histories and lands. Brother bright, let us be friends and renew our truce. All beings are relieved when our hearts reconcile. Let today be a day of brotherhood and peace. We are sides of a coin, joined, if looking away, the face of sunlight and its tailing cooling shade. That's Brother Bright, written as a poem between a conversation between Hermes to Apollo. And with that, Apollon, bright one, master of the muses, musician without equal, I call upon your aid to make this rite pleasing to all who hear, here and beyond. I beg you be present. I give you an offering. May it be accepted. Lend what aid you will, or if you wish, observe these workings. Chaire, Apollo, be welcome. All right, now we're in the middle part. The initial introductions have been made and offerings given. Definitely hail Apollo. And I was not much of a Apollo aficionado, appreciator, until Hermes basically said, hey, you better show my brother some love, some appreciation. Especially if you're doing bardic work. Yeah, you want Apollo on your side too. All right. I sometimes vary in who I call upon to join the worlds. Again, it's more of a druidic tradition, but rather than drawing a circle and sealing off space, asking to open space, to join other worlds to this one, to create a central point where gifts can be exchanged, words can be heard more clearly, those beings can access this space. So tonight I'm going to call on Hecate. We are in the dark part of the year. We're just past the solstice. I think it's still appropriate that the Mistress of Keys be asked. Hecate, with your torches raised high. Hecate, your dog searching out prey. Hecate, with your keys at your side. I call 3 times and ask your aid. Chaire, Hecate, be welcome and please accept this gift. I ask your aid not only for your own might and value, but also to open the ways between the worlds, to join this space anchored by the Omphalos stone, the navel of the world, to extend it outward and up to the heights of Olympus and to the cosmos beyond, to extend it down through the waters, to the depths, to the underworld, and to the center of all creation. Hecate, please lend your magic for this working. By the earth beneath us, by the seas about us, by the skies above us, may all the ways be open. Once the worlds have been joined, again, in case you're wondering, I haven't geode here, which acts as my world center, more of a Hellenic tradition. Rather than having a world tree to join the worlds, there's a stone that acts as the binding point, the navel, at the center of all worlds. Something like the mountain at Olympus being a axis mundi, or axis of the world. So we're in sacred space in truth, not just in application. Next would be the spirits, various beings, high and low. Call first to the spirits of nature, Naiad and Dryad, Satyr, and Num. All those beings that inhabit this world, that dwell upon Gaia with us, be you welcome as well, and I ask that you lend what aid that you wish. To the mighty dead, the ancestors gone on, once mortal like we, now something more, I call out to you through the gates and ask that, should you be in tune with this work, that you visit, lend your aid to its process, or observe if you wish. And to the gods, high above on Olympus, dwelling upon the world's terra with us, or deep below, chthonic deities, all of you be welcome to join this working if you will, and if you are in accord with its purposes, or to observe if not, and learn what transpires. Beings all, chairete. I think that's most of the introductions. Now on to the guest of honor, Hermes. I have the perfect poem. We just passed the solstice and Yuletide. I think of that as a liminal time as much as Samhain and the All Souls days. So I call upon Hermes as transgressor, the one who crosses over boundaries, who moves things from place to place. Hail, Hermes transgressor, bypassing barriers, opposing illusions, dropping deception's doors. Transport us past perception, rending reality's rules, those limits laid upon life. Challenging authority, not damning by defiance, but guiding us to greater good. We walk wiser in your wake, unhindered and unforced, trusting your choice of trail. So, first offering. Aire, Haire, Hermes. Be welcome to this rite in your honor tonight, on the 4th of this month. Hermes, teacher, patron, guide, friend. Oop, that won't reach. I burned down my votive candle here. It was a lovely thing given to me by a friend, Sam. Now, this is the more young Roman style Mercury Hermes. I like him fine, but usually when I draw or think of images of Hermes, I'm thinking more in the old Greek style. The bearded messenger in his wide-brimmed hat, his pedicos, in his cloak. Oh, I wanted to keep that burning. Set that safely down on there. Remember, everybody, candle safety. I've had rituals go awry before where the flames were not well controlled, were not respected. You respect Estia. And I've lit things on fire before, my carpet, my altar cloth. There we go. and include some dragon's blood incense as an additional offering. Yeah, I've melted carpet, I've lit things on fire. Be careful. So all these candles are on either metal dishes or ceramic tiles. So that even drips don't have a chance to catch anything on fire. Your public service announcement for the evening. Back to the guest at hand. Can you just imagine Hermes doing the more you know, and then a rainbow comes across, but it's Iris, the other messenger goddess. Seems appropriate to me. Oh, you know what? Let's do the physical offerings first, and then I'll do the praise offerings. Another offering for tonight, a sampling of our New Year's snacks, some chocolate, pickles, cheese. As I often do, a bit of it is stolen from someone else, in this case my wife's stash of Dill Havarti. The God of Thieves appreciates a little allowable theft. Yes, I don't work nearly as much as I should with Iris, but she is lovely, and I know friends who have given her good honor. Another offering that I love to provide, this is a gin and tonic. Through past experience, personal gnosis, Hermes tends to like clear liquors a bit more, and we both like gin, good gin. Again, I'm not plugging brands specifically, but this is the good stuff that costs a lot more. And it's mixed with a bottle of elderflower tonic water, which is my favorite. It's the fourth bottle out of a pack of 4, the last one, and as Hermes showed in tradition, giving something that you value is the best sacrifice. So that's one of my practices is as I get to the end of a 4-pack, I say one for his devotional. So the traditional, very simple gin and tonic. One of these days I'll get limes and make them proper. And I think that's all the physical offerings for tonight. Oh, something I wanted to show. Let me see if I can move the camera over a little bit. So sometimes offerings go here, which if you ever hear me talk in poems or otherwise about a Herm, it's literally a stone or pile of stones, which is presumed to be the source of the name Hermes. Originally, an or Hermes, was a stone pillar on the roadside, literally a travel god that travelers could drop coins, pour an offering, and pray for safe journeys. And he picked up a lot of hats from there. So part of my shrine for Hermes is a Herm. I've had donations of interesting stones. Sometimes I pick up nice ones. You know, there's a bit of pyrite and bronzite and marble mixed in there. There are coins. I'll occasionally drop coins. Hermes is not a god of hoarded wealth, so they need to move on and be spent on something appropriate. So I usually try to find a place to donate those coins that have been offered and sacrificed to Hermes. But there is a mercury dime that stays on there regularly. And a buffalo nickel, places I've traveled to, you know. Okay, let's get on with it. I did say this, I was going to try to keep this to around a half an hour, and we're going a little past that. For folks that are still on, now is the poetry section that I usually do for lives. Now, all of these are original works that I did write, but I've presented some of them in the past. So I'll try to note if any are elsewhere on my TikTok or YouTube or elsewhere. This is a good one to start out with. So this is my reinterpretation after reading the Homeric hymn to Hermes. This one is called Transcendency. In your honor, mighty Hermes, let us retell your story. The gods are placed upon the heights, Olympus far above, or else in Hades' caverns far below, separate, symbolically, from mortal mundane lands, in wisdom, power, and in truths they know. Though gods do walk among us condescending to observe, their presence often causes consequences. This once was their dilemma, how to guide the mortal's growth without the unintended influences. They first made do with proxies, heroes gifted with great strength, many of them demigod relations. But even such descendants were still paragons apart, their stories tragic tales of isolation. What gods needed was a living bridge to span the great divide, with subtlety and undetected hand, a messenger to walk the ways between heavens, hells, and earths, to carry out their well-intentioned plans. Their answer came in infant form, born low inside a cave, another child of gods and men uniting. Though starting as a demigod, the child was ill-content, and sought to scale Olympus without dying. Since gods are fed by sacrifice, the gifts that mortals bring, the tithes that reconfirm their lofty station, the child, partly mortal-born and also partly god, conceived a means to work his elevation. He took the finest cattle meant to feed Apollo's fame, then burned them on an altar to himself, including all the gods, not just to mitigate offense, but to place his name among their ranks as well. When apprehended for his crime and brought to stand for trial, Apollo hauled him up Olympic heights. He met his father, got his pardon, and confirmed his claim, ascending by his sacrificial rites. Zeus the father could have struck him down for his presumption, but likely saw his scheming as solution. Here was one who'd crossed the gap with cunning, grace, and speed, and not revolting, bringing revelation. And so his pardon and promotion came conditionally, and ever after Hermes had a role, to walk between the heights and depths, to wield a subtle touch, to carry treasures, messages, and souls. Thus does Hermes reign on high and travel deep below, while also touching every point between, to serve the gods, to work their wills, himself among the list, in ways that are unnoticed and unseen. Now, you can say that such a god was fated to appear, or call him a conception Zeus arranged, but just as likely he was born through his own influence. Why, time itself might lie within his range. It's called transcendency. It's kind of a personal interpretation of Hermes' importance and role amongst the gods. The next one I'm going to read in his honor, I have presented on YouTube before. I think I did Transcendency as well in one of the 4 for Hermes package deals that I tend to do. This one's called Stealing Hermes. Remember I said I'm honoring Hermes especially as transgressor, as one who goes past the rules. That's what this is about. Breaking the rules in order to preserve them. Terms was borrowed by Etruscans, plagiarizing Greece. Then the Romans took a turn and called him Mercury. Later he was kidnapped by some classicists who tried 3 times to sign his name to formal sorcery. Then shoved into syncretic bags with other deities. Anubis, Lu, and Odin kept him captive company. His likeness, cap, and wings and all now means deliveries. But do the corporations ever pay him royalties? So why should I feel shame or guilt when following their lead? I'll just do the same myself and steal Hermes for me. I'll bring him home to my own shrine and feed him offerings, and then display him my own way, show others what I see. To steal away a deity is not like other thefts. You don't remove the thing you take, no one is left bereft. But neither is it left unchanged, what's taken or what's left. You build upon the template, adding warp upon its weft. You see it happen all the time with most mythologies, and some gods are all right with it, while others are displeased. I think that I'm all right. In fact, I think I'm right indeed, for wouldn't it be wrong to never steal the god of thieves? Purist might object and say a stolen god's debased. If others can misuse their name and redesign their fame, but who says that first drafts will get it right in just one take? I call it hubris to presume you claim a god with faith. Let's call it competition to see who can prove their claim, since wouldn't true depictions generate the greatest fame? So though I call it stealing, this is really more a game. The only crime here happens when their version's kind of lame. See, Hermes isn't bound by hate or other boundary lines, so when you try to lock him down, it's you who's in a bind. No traditionalist nor nationalist can keep him well defined. A traveler spans all the world and goes where he decides. So I say stolen only as a way to tweak and tease. You really think that anyone could catch him at that speed? And if I've actually got a claim, it's mutually agreed. And if you're missing something, better check your own misdeeds. I see a message saying, "Hail Satan." If that's sincerely meant, Lucifer, a nod in his direction. I do worship Hermes as a trickster. Now, there is a difference that Hermes in the Greek tradition is not a rebel. He is a trickster and a thief and a rule breaker and a rule rewriter. So rebellious in that sense, but always stays under the god's creed, Zeus's orders. He's still loyal to the heavens, to the Olympus. So there's a little bit of a difference. I like to keep my tricks legal as much as I can. How do you do legal theft? When the laws change. Good segue to the next offering. It's called Thieves and Thieves. I've had a hard time, by the way, reconciling the God of Thieves idea with generally being a law-abiding, very, I will say, Apollo-oriented sort of person who believes in the existence of absolute truth, who believes that laws generally are a good thing, but Hermes is trying to break me of those bad habits. Thieves and Thieves. The law must be security for property, but some have more enormous stores while some are poor. A proper state can't simply take those things away, but when divides grow over wide, it threatens lives, and so we find a fight arise between good and right. The destitute can't file suit to distribute. Instead, they plead their honest need to honest thieves. Returning wealth for public health requires stealth, and a thief must break the law to take a settled stake. But when thieves sting a glutton king, then praises ring. But oftener their targets are those self-same poor. As thieves retain their ill-got gain, greed spreads its stain. For some with wealth are thieves themselves. They scheme and sell. Then laws to guard those who work hard shield stolen hoards. The god of thieves takes note of these corrupt with greed. Make no mistake, not all who take walk in his wake. Theft is for need, not cruelty nor usury. He does not bless those who aggress or take excess. He takes the part of fluid heart and trickster's art. The goal is change, to force exchange, to rearrange, to break the hold of frozen old entombed with gold. So when his kind pay him no mind with treasure piled, they shame his name, defile his fame, attracting blame. The law must deal with those who steal to hold its seal. And so does he abandon these perverted thieves. Their stealth will fail, their acts revealed, and end in jail. Then true thieves come to divvy up that ill-got lot. 'Tis a paradox, thieves against thieves, stealing back what was stolen. That's one that can be multiply interpreted. Like my last poem, I have started labeling #irony, just so people get that some of it's tongue-in-cheek, or it's up to your interpretation. How serious am I? I will fully admit, again, I have come to Hermes worship through Druidry, but before that was and still am, a Pope of Discordia. I have my card. I have my investiture. So, Eris has a bit of a first priority. Again, how serious am I? All right. Last one of the offerings for Hermes in this devotion tonight, and last one of the poems that I wanted to share. This is one that's going to go up eventually on TikTok, but I want to make a new recording because the first one that I put on YouTube wasn't great. But I love this poem and I want to work on getting it fluid, fast. That's part of the offering to Hermes, is getting limbering up the tongue a bit. Am I a linguist? Yes. I have a degree. Am I a cunning linguist? Yes, I'm quite intelligent. Special delivery. Now, anyone who thinks it sounds very prideful to say that you're intelligent, think about saying if you say, I'm stupid. Isn't that just as proud? It'd be hubris to say something that's not true. All right, enough of that. I'm letting my patron influence me right now. Special delivery. Messages, packages, omens and oracles, grand proclamations and prayers, love letters, poxes, and curses in boxes. I only deliver the mail. Is it strange to receive valued goods from a thief? I'm trusted because I don't fail. Never you mind what I do on the side. I only deliver the mail. Employed by elites might tempt others to peek, stealing secrets to offer for sale. I learn quite enough seeing who sends who what, but I only deliver the mail. Some souls might intervene when the great cause is seen, benefiting from basest betrayal. No, I'd not compromise by subverting a side. I only deliver their mail. Others might push for peace, mediating between, crossing borders where nobody dares. While I do transect lines, any deals made aren't mine. I only deliver the mail. Why, to even imply I might influence lives by tampering with timing or trails. It's an awful affront to suggest such a stunt. Why, I only deliver the mail. What a job like this takes is superior pace, striding swifter than Zephyrus gale. I do more in a second than most do per minute, but I only deliver the mail. Whatever's been said of my various trades, there is nothing more that I can tell. They're just natural outgrowths of my work with the post. I only deliver the mail. And of course that's spoken from Hermes' point of view. Special delivery. All right, that is the fourth of the offering poems. So that's a good number to end on. I do have one other offering that I'm not going to do on the live here, and that is my exercises. Among his other titles, Hermes is very much a god of physical fitness and gymnasiums, and to some extent youth, although I've missed that one. But Dr. Seuss beats Hermes. You know, the cadence is very familiar, isn't it? Thank you. I appreciate it. I consider that a compliment. All right. What I was going to say, exercises. So I usually do a short exercise routine, as much as I feel capable of. I'm a little creaky in the bones, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll do that afterward. But here's the offering, as I promised that I will do the full exercise regimen that I normally do. All right, now it's time for closings. So, tradition is to do things in the reverse order from how everyone was welcomed. Last in, first out. So, let us say good night and goodbye. Oh, I almost forgot. Really important last couple bits. So, when you give an offering and a sacrifice, like a big sacrifice, it's a good idea to make sure that it was actually accepted. For Hermes, I do this by means of dice divination. I have a good old classic D4. This is from the very first set that I ever started playing role-playing games with. My almost first D4. So, 'tis omen time, yes. First question is, are these offerings accepted? Are they sufficient to continue our partnership and to give back for all the benefits that you've given me? So, Hermes, a 4, the best number, means yes, accepted. It's good. A 1 means no, you're missing something important. And you generally need to figure out what it is. I hope I don't get that tonight, because it will go a little long. If I do, I'll have to promise to provide it later. 2 being no, but it's not really important. And 3 being you're almost there, just a little bit more. Like I say, I've gone sometimes half an hour of guessing games trying to figure out what it is my patron wants. Let's hope we don't have to do that tonight. So, Hermes, patron, have the offerings been given? Food and drink, poetry, praise in your honor, sharing this rite with people beyond, have they been sufficient to continue our work together? And this is a dedicated dice cup. It's only used for omens from Hermes. 1. Oh, I've forgotten something. Okay. I didn't mention the exercise. So, physical offerings, praise offerings, sharing, and my exercises. Will that be sufficient? Yes, 4. Okay. I forgot to mention that. Sometimes the literal thing is important. That's good. And yes, omens. In return for all this work devotion, I ask for a message. Something that Hermes wants me to know, that he wants me to think on or be vigilant, or a blessing that he might be providing. And there's lots of different ways to do that. I've used bibliomancy, working through a book. Usually I like the like Bullfinch's mythology or something appropriate. Often I'll do dice, numismatism, numerology. I have a set of astrologoi, sheep knuckle bones, traditionally appropriate. But today I wanted to use my oracle deck. Literally, my oracle deck. I said I wasn't going to plug, but I lied. Haha. This is the Alchemist Oracle, something that I do sell online, but I only offered it for sale because it was easy. I wanted to make a deck for myself that uses the various symbols of Western, Hermetic, alchemy, and uses their representations, their magical and divinatory properties. So you've got literally elements like gold and lead. You've got processes like dissolving, dissolution, and all those fascinating symbols that really entranced me since high school, since I started doodling them in notebooks. So this was appropriate, and I wanted to create an oracle that was attuned to me, that had my ideas in it. And if other people want it, I know a few people have bought decks and hopefully found it useful. So, see, sorry, had to throw in a lie for an Hermes, right? Okay, let's see what I got for an omen tonight. And I do read these sometimes reversed, upside down. Woo! It's like drawing the death card. I know that's reversed on your screen. Arsenic! Which fortunately does not literally mean arsenic. You're gonna die. No. Arsenic can mean a poison, a toxin, something unpleasant in your environment or dangerous. We're living in the COVID pandemic. There's something toxic everywhere. But it can also mean healing, because arsenic is used in certain medicines and can be used antiseptically. So I'm going to take that as part of the meaning. Arsenic. Next draw. Dissolution, which I mentioned, uses the symbol for Pisces, which I know what that looks like. It's supposed to be fishies. Dissolution means dissolving. It means sometimes being lost in the crowd, caught up in events or in groupthink. It can also mean losing your sense of self, not focusing enough on your unique contribution. But it can be in a positive sense too, i.e. being part of something greater, being combined with others in a greater work. So, again, another one to bear as possibly good or bad. Interesting mixture with alkahest, the universal solvent. Combined with dissolution, that doubles up that meaning. Alkahest is supposedly a substance that can dissolve anything. I don't know how you keep it in a beaker, but supposedly there was a way. So, the alkahest. So we've got a double sense of dissolving with something having to do with poison or healing. I may have to think on that one. I mean, if anybody's got ideas, I've got you on the line. I think what that really has to do with is a feeling of pride, of thinking of myself as separate from others, which has been a problem. My misanthropy has been really sharpened by pandemic and isolation and working from home. So maybe I need to think of myself as more of a team player, as not special. You know, that crack about intelligence earlier, that's a bad habit. Yeah, I'm going to think of it on that direction, but I think that omen is along the lines of Hermes going, there are other people that are just as important as you. There are things that you need others' help to do. Get with the program, get mixed in. I mean, wear your mask, get your vaccination. Oh wait, I'm getting political again. I'm sorry. There's a reason that my title is Bardic Punk. It's hard to avoid. But anyway, it's definitely good to be reminded that you're one of many. And, as much as people whine about, oh, special snowflake, you think you're special, you can definitely go too far in that direction and think of yourself as exceptional and outside of the rules and the group. So, I'll see what I can do about mingling. One of my poems coming up on TikTok is called In Praise of the Beige. Getting to other bards, I would love that. I'm really hoping that we can have more bardic challenges in Arndrock Fane, more virtual meetups. It'd be lovely if we can do the Wellspring Gathering and the bardic challenge this year, or just sharing. Oh, open mic night, but hey, that'll depend on if it's safe. Yeah. All right. I'd take this a little bit longer than I intended to. Let's do the wrap up as quickly as is appropriate. So, first, welcome to Hermes.
Thank you for the invite, but I'm wrapping up.
Get this closed out correctly. I'm in ritual space. Thank you, though. You're in charge of the Artisans Guild. Oh, okay. Well, now I have a better idea who's behind the screen name. Welcome again on that knowledge. Yeah, we should. My physical art, I do a lot of graphic design, mostly for myself and for game purposes. I'm the deputy leader of the Games and Play Special Interest Group. Mostly that's because we don't have enough people yet to really hold an election and find out who really are the leaders. But yeah, the founder and I generally generate most of the activity right now until we can get more people going. Although there's some folks who've been posting things about conventions. All right, I'm taking this longer. Gee, you go figure. We're doing a Rite to Hermes and I can't stop talking. Hermes, your presence is felt. Your blessings are felt. We have guests. Thank you for those. And please share a portion of your blessings with them as well, if they accept. Your presence is very much appreciated, very welcome, and I am grateful. You need not go, but if you wish, my time in this rite is ending. Hermes, I thank you. Anyway, gods, goddesses, and deities, otherwise, above, below, and on this earth, I thank you for your attentions, your presence, if you came to join us, your attentions if you are merely watching, and any aid that you have rendered. May we go apart in peace for now. Mighty dead, those residing below, and those walking about in this dark time, I thank you for your presence. You are welcome to remain near, but please only interact as much as is safe and calm among us. Ancestors, I thank you. And the spirits of nature, the beings who indwell within this world, within all its creations and all its growths, I thank you for your presence, any aid that you've rendered, or simply your attention. Spirits of nature, I thank you. Hecate, I call upon you next to aid me in closing the ways between the worlds, separating us out to our individual places so that we may again be more simple, at peace, and be more attentive to our individual needs. Hecate, please again lend me your magic. Let the waters that have extended deep into the underworld and beyond return to be but water. May the flame that has reached up to the heights of Olympus and beyond into the skies above be just a flame. And may the world center, the omphalos, be but stone, still at the center of all things, but releasing them to let the worlds expand again to their rightful place. Hecate, please may the ways be closed. I want to look a bit more into the divination. Oh, sure. I can stay on a little bit later if you want to chat, or if you wanted to message me separately. I'll be happy to talk over the divination. All right, finishing up things. The gates are closed. Oh, Apollo, I thank you. We've had conversations, ideas exchanged, poetry read. Your presence is certainly felt and appreciated. Go if you will, but you are welcome to stay. I'm going to be doing some video editing. Any help that you can lend is always appreciated. Apollo, I thank you. Ouranos, the sky and the spaces beyond. Gaia, the world beneath us. Our earthly mother. Thanks to you both for being present, for lending what aid that you did, for simply observing and knowing what passes here. Ouranos, Gaia, I thank you. And last, Hestia, the flame, the hearth, the soul, and the sacrificer. Your aid, as always, is gratefully appreciated. May you take again what share you see fit of these gifts. May you pass the rest on to those to whom they are intended. And I thank you again for warding this space, for keeping all within its light safe, and driving off all that do not intend good things to those within. Your services, as always, are welcomed and beloved. Hestia, I thank you. I don't usually have a formal ending for my devotional rites, but I think that tends to close things out. Otherwise, all that's left is the cleanup. So I thank those who've attended. Magpie, did you have a question about the divination? Or let's see, I wanted to look a bit more into... Oh, I see the comment about getting together other bards about the divination. Okay, I understand now. Yeah, like I tell people, I don't hide much of anything, so if you want to message me, my Facebook account is on my link tree. My real name is in my profile. I've had a couple people recently talk about turning some of these poems into songs. Please, I would love for people who are actually musicians to look at and see if they can make something really musical out of my odd creations. One of the groups was a folk punk outfit with a vaudeville kind of barbershop quartet feel. That would be awesome, especially for the one poem that people were saying had a steampunk vibe. That would be lovely. All right, I'm going to wrap things up. I noticed the viewership's dropped off, but thank you in absentia to all those who attended. Thank you to any who still remain. Oh, and the Sapphic Fairy Queen comes in at the end. Oh, I hope you're rejoining if you're here before. Let's just say I know a few Sapphic Fairy Queens, and they're lovely people. I should put Sappho on my reading list. Yep, noted. All right. Good night, all. Love. May the gods be with you. May Hermes speed you on your travels and keep you safe, wherever you are, wherever you go. And in this time of disease, may both those gods of medicine, Hermes and Apollo, wielders of the serpent staff, guard you about. If you accept. Love you all. Good night.